finally, I'm a little bit over the hill again when it comes to my sickness. So when I entered the deload, I was actually quite sick, which was lucky though for me, or fortunate in that sense, because I was entering the deload and I could end up my mesocycle very, very strong, and then I could just take a complete week off and away from the gym, which I ended up doing, except for one session. I actually planned on doing 2 sessions. Then I went to the gym, and actually the guy who was supposed to open up the gym, he never turned up in the morning, and then it stayed closed, actually. How fucking irresponsible is that? His colleague was there, though, who hadn't had a key, and he felt terrible. And I can wholeheartedly relate to that, because I would feel terrible as well, especially if there are customers around you blaming you now for this. I don't think that anyone did that, though. But yeah, it was just like, holy fuck, what is wrong with you, right? So, as I already told you guys, I feel so much better already. And I was thinking of, okay, what am I supposed to actually vlog about this week? And to be honest, I didn't really come up with many of the topics. And the thing is that Charles, the one who's always videographing me when I'm doing training sessions at the moment, he's in Poland. Yeah, picking up some cigarettes and actually, I don't know, fucking some hookers? No, I'm just kidding. He's there because it's his birthday ever since like 2 weeks already. Yeah. Charles, you're watching this, I know this. And yeah, now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, okay, what am I supposed to be vlogging about? Because I'm also not that type of guy who goes out on a regular basis and spends some time in a city or so. And the thing is that, as you guys know, I have family at home, and I'm not that type of guy who's recording a lot of stuff when the family is actually around, all right? So I'm just contemplating, like, what can I talk about this week? What I was wondering, and maybe this is something that you've wondered as well, is what is up with all of the cream of rice, wearing hoodies, and also doing rows in a kind of, I don't know, rapist kind of fashion? I mean, someone said it, like, righty so. The Phone Police, by the way, check him out over on Instagram. He basically said that, like, the real pandemic in this country, which I'm referring to the UK, is the bend over barbell rows, which you're seeing all over the place. This is the true pandemic, and I wholeheartedly have to agree with that. The other question is then, besides, like, why is everyone actually doing, like, cream of rice? I think it's because of peer pressure, because their idols are doing that. The other question is then how to move forward. So this mesocycle is going to be a metabolite block, where I'm going to do a little bit more higher repetition kind of stuff, shorter rest periods, not with every single exercise, but with many of those, then incorporating things such as intensity techniques, more reps, rest pause techniques, more supersets, all that kind of jazz. And I really do hope that Charles is coming back soon so that I can record one of my quad sessions together with him, because they are most of the time the most brutal ones, because metabolite techniques and down, or just like intensity techniques, they don't really work as well for something like hamstrings, for example. At least that's what I found to be the case, but more so very well for quads and doing something like, I don't know, leg presses to walking lunges, for example. What I've prescribed for myself is hack squats to walking lunges, and this is going to be nasty. And this is something that I would like to show you as well, to get a little bit of an insight of how I like to do the metabolite block, because I also felt that the amount of volume and the way I trained here over the past couple of weeks was very productive, but at the same time, I'm getting close to my limits when it comes to the amount of adaptive resistance I just built up. And that's why I just need to now squeeze everything out before I'm then doing probably a prima phase. And then I'm still considering, because then the time is actually at that time of the year of around November, December, whether I in the end do want to compete next year or not. I know I said the entire time that it's probably not going to happen in 2021, but the closer we are getting to 2021, and also alongside with that, with the time frame where you're then supposed to be doing something like contest prep, I'm getting more and more the itching sensation of still wanting to compete this next year. We will see. I will now head to the gym. It's early in the day, but I have nothing better to do actually, and I'm feeling fresh. It's the first week, the first session, the first day of the new mesocycle, and I'm feeling fresh and recovered to go for the second session of the day, which will not be overwhelmingly hard, which will not be overwhelmingly long or so, right? That's why I'm already preparing myself, slowly having a coffee, having a whey shake. You know the drill. You've seen it in the past already. Taking my clothes off, putting clothes back on, and then I'm heading off to the gym. One thing I find more and more interesting is that over the years, I'm spending less and less money on things such as supplementation. I have the feeling that with more experience, I just realized how little to no effect supplementations actually have, that most of it's only in your head, or it's just such a marginal effect that it doesn't really make anything, or you can't really tell that it does anything, right? That doesn't mean that it doesn't have any kind of benefits in taking them. I think that magnesium, zinc, creatine, especially creatine because it's so cheap, but it has proven to actually do something for so often, is probably beneficial. But over time, then I have moved from buying those kind of fancy supplements to something like just the basic things that you need normally to not be in a deficient state. Something like protein powder, I wouldn't actually call it a supplementation because this is, to me, it's nothing else but food, right? But yeah, this is just something I've noticed, and probably I spend less and less money over the past couple of years. So each and every single year I was spending less money on supplements, and I think that this money is better spent elsewhere. And I mean, if you're really looking for a major effect coming from supplements, I have to break it to you, but then you probably have to go down the steroid road. Not promoting it, disclaimer, this is not medical advice, of course, I don't want to get sued, but yeah, this is probably what you then have to do. Is anyone into anime? I know some people are, definitely, because we even had one of the forum threads that's all about anime. Right now, I'm about to finish Hunter x Hunter, and I was contemplating for a very long time on actually watching that, and I was starting to watch it like ages ago. The first couple of episodes, they give you a complete false impression of what that anime is all about and how it is. And ages ago, I started watching it. After 5 episodes, I ended it because I was just like, what the fuck is this? Is this Pokemon or what? And then because I had nothing to watch, I actually then gave it a try because I've seen so many people talk about it, that it's such a great anime. Gave it a try, and I'm fucking hooked, and it's such a good anime. I was kind of binge watching it over the Dilo now when I was sick, and I needed to calm down, or take the moment and take the time to calm down a little bit more frequently and often, and I was using most of the time to then watch Hunter x Hunter. Give it a try if you haven't watched it, and if you had the same thoughts as I had in the beginning, it's a freaking fantastic anime. And if you're not into anime at all, what the fuck is wrong with you anyway? Let's go. Well, that was a massive fail. A massive fail, actually, because I wanted to ride with my motorbike to the gym. Thing is, after 2 weeks standing around, my battery was completely drained. Fucking Harley, just because there's an alarm on there, right? And if you leave it on for like over 3 days, it fucking drains your batteries. And it was completely empty. I was actually getting on a bike and I thought like, yeah, after 2 weeks, it shouldn't be too bad. Nothing was working anymore. Now, I actually then went with a bicycle, and it was better than anticipated. There's a direct way, which is just made for bicycles and also for just like a walking crowd, and it was freaking lovely. So I'm probably going to get there in the future way more often with a bicycle, because it was a freaking fantastic ride. Probably not on leg days though, but yeah, fuck Hardy. Oh, this now goes all the way from here over here, like out here, and then to the motorbike. Let me just show it to you really quickly. Hopefully I'm not like closing myself off here. Over here through the bushes, and then over to the good old motorbike. Finally. And now it's loading, and look at how empty it was. Actually, take a look at that. It's only at 2, supposed to be at 5 or 6. This already shows how empty and drained it was only after 2 weeks. Crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's cool to have an alarm there, right? But if it drains your fucking battery after like 3 days, what is it good for? It was really just standing around for 2 weeks, and I knew that it's draining the battery very quickly, and I totally forgot it over the past 2 weeks. What I did when it was standing around in the garage, I always then removed the overall, what's it called, the fuse, the master fuse, in order then to shut everything off, right? Because it is the alarm that drains everything. Fucking hell. Anyway, now I'm back home, had a good session. It was over much sooner than anticipated. It was a good session. I got a good titty pump, as we all wanted. All right, and yeah, now it's time for a steak. Why? Because I'm a man. That was good. God damn, that was good. Steak. I know if you're vegan, if you're vegan, or just vegetarian, due to some ethical views of yours. I know that this sounds like that as if I'm a shitty person or so, and you have all the right in the world to then think that way. Absolutely. I think I need to go to the toilet. Sorry. Just came back from a post-steak dump. Yeah, I don't care. Yes, I don't have to be attractive for anyone anymore, because the thing is, I have the love of my life by my side. So I can actually say whatever I want without actually feeling guilty or without feeling bad about it, because there is no one watching that I need to attract or so, right? So, and that's the same thing with other things that I'm saying, right? Thing is, I never want anyone to feel offended or so by the things that I'm saying. Thing is, though, at the same time, we are living 2020, and we know for a fact that anyone is feeling offended by anything, right? And the thing is that the problem is then on the person's side. Same goes for, I just mentioned like the phone police, and I made a post about it just recently over on Instagram, that constructive criticism is one of the greatest gifts that you can get from someone else, because that just shows you what you can still work on in order to then improve. If you take that as an offense against you, right, then yeah, you take it personally, but you also decided to take it from an emotional perspective. And in my opinion, that's never a good thing to do, because that hinders you in actually moving forward and actually changing something about your life, perhaps, right? And the thing is, when constructive criticism is actually given to you, then you can go out there and take action and always become better at something, whatever it is in life. And thing is, there is that Instagram account called the Form Police, who's always calling out people when they're doing shitty form. And especially like I talk about shitty form, not being pedantic about like small minor things that aren't really that significant, but more so like properly shitty form. And if someone then blocks that account or gets personal against that account, it tells you all you need to know about that person. So whenever someone is giving you constructive criticism, and there's something to it, sometimes of course there isn't something to it, or you have your reasons as to why you do something a specific way, still I think that you should always keep an open mind and always think about the possibility that there is something to it that you then can go out and take action once again. I don't think that emotions in that regard have anything to do or have any kind of place in these kind of things. And I see it all the time, unfortunately, that people behave and act so much on their emotions that this causes them to actually stand still for a long period of life, or for their entire life even. And this is one thing that I, for example, see in my personal environment as well. Like Katie is someone who is very emotional, and sometimes that's to her detriment, which is unfortunate. And this is also why I always encourage her to be a little bit more confident, to be a little bit more egoistic at times, to think about herself sometimes, because she's always someone who wants to please everyone else first, even if that comes at her detriment. And I don't think that this is the best thing in order to accomplish something. Now, finished second session of the day, had a steak, went on a ride with my bicycle. Now I'm sitting here talking, rambling about these things. Also then talking about like peer pressure, groups in our industry. But this is something that I will get into in a different vlog. I think it's enough for this week. A short and sweet one, simply because not that much has happened. It was vetoed, I was sick, and now I'm slowly getting back into the groove of things. But still, as always, I want you to stay. I want you to still know what's going on. And I mean, these vlogs are also there for entertainment purposes, but also, of course, to get a little bit more of an insight of what is going on up here, isn't it? So guys, I'll leave it here. If you have any, and this is something that I really do mean, this is not just something like, yeah, just comment below, and I never really take that into consideration. If you want to see something of my life, or some kind of part, or if there's something where you just say like, okay, can you record this a little bit more often? Please let me know in the comment section below, because then I will always consider doing that. Of course, I will not record myself wanking or having sex with Katie. Sorry, not going to happen. Not yet, at least. And so save those comments for maybe a later point in my life or your life, but more so something that has to do with fitness, training, or my life specifically. So guys, I'll leave it here. Over and out. See you next time. Hit the subscribe button, like button, subscription button, whatever there is. And yeah, I guess I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.